Today we're going to Before we begin, I wanted to mention this video sponsor, Skillshare.com, which is an online learning community for creators with over 25,000 classes in design, business, and more. So whether you want to fuel your curiosity, your creativity, or even your career, Skillshare is the perfect place to do just that. For instance, you're about to watch my video on HTML and CSS, but you could watch this full HTML developer course at Skillshare. Skillshare is also super affordable with an annual subscription of being less than $10 a month. But if you're one of the first 500 people to click on the link here in the description in YouTube, then you get the first 2 months 100% free. So join up. Hey everyone, what's up? Gary Simon of CourseTetro.com. So today we're going to be checking out something called Emmet in Visual Studio Code, which it ships with Visual Studio Code by default. That's the code editor that I've been using for quite some time. It's very popular and it's free. And Emmet is a way to really speed up the way in which you write your HTML especially, and also CSS properties and values. So I'm going to do a quick sort of crash course right here, and you're going to see just how easy it is to write even complex HTML markup with nestings and siblings and all of that, all in one simple line. It's very, very cool stuff. So let me know in the comments if you guys already use Emmet, and yeah, let's go ahead and get started. But first, make sure to subscribe. All right, so we're going to be using Emmet here in Visual Studio Code. I just have an index.html page open, and it is completely empty. So the first use of, actually the very first character, if you follow along with this, this channel, when I'm doing any type of HTML, the very first character, you know, I always specify is a exclamation point. And we can see with the suggestion here, we have an Emmet abbreviation. I always just hit enter. And there we go. We have our quick boilerplate HTML. Probably the biggest time saver right here when it comes to structuring your HTML data with Emmet. So very, very handy. The next thing I'll usually do is right here within the head tag is to type in link, which is just another HTML element. And that's how you can specify HTML elements without, say, for instance, having to, do the opening bracket, link, and then having to put all the other attributes in by hand. You can simply hit link, hit enter, and there we go. We can put in our main.css file if we wish, and that's something I always usually do as well. So let's come here between the body tags. I'm going to make this big, hit Control B to get rid of the sidebar. And so as I mentioned just now, HTML elements, the way you work with them and you make your life easier with Emmet is to just type in the name of the element. So you don't start typing in, the opening HTML element bracket right here. You just type in the name of whatever it is you want. So if you want a div, you hit enter. Okay, so it creates, if there's a closing tag with it, it'll create that as well. You just hit enter and you start typing. You could also do, for instance, span, strong, they're all there essentially. So it makes your life quite easy in that regard. You can also specify classes and IDs. So for instance, if we want a div with a class of container, which is pretty common, well, a class as specified in CSS or denoted is with a period. Same thing right here in HTML. So if you want a div with a class of, say, container, there you go. We have our div class of container. If you want an ID, div, well, same thing as in with CSS. We use the hashtag here, and we'll just put my ID. You give it whatever name, and there you go. Very easy stuff. Now, what if you wanted to do both an ID and a class associated with a given HTML element? Well, div, container, and then my ID. Now, what about having multiple classes? Well, we just keep on putting periods, container, whatever, and my ID. Very, very easy stuff. All right, so let's also talk about specifying attributes. So for instance, the A tag has any number of attributes. So if we type in A, by default, on some of the HTML elements, it's going to include the required attributes for you already. But we could also put in, the way you specify attributes or even custom attributes, you put it in a brackets. All right, so target is an attribute that allows you to specify if a given link is opening up like in a new tab or a new window. So we just put equals blank here, and there we go. It's going to include our href by default, but also our attribute right here. We can also do another one, input. By the way, because there's a lot of different types of inputs, we can see them all listed out here. So like input text, that's going to have a bunch of attributes that are there ready to save you time. All right, so next, let's talk about siblings. All right, so let's say you know, for instance, that you want multiple HTML elements, say, for instance, type-based elements. Maybe you're working within a main section area where you have an article content. So you're going to have maybe an H1. You use the plus operator, and that makes a sibling HTML element. So maybe also a paragraph. So as you can see, it just as siblings, they're not going to be nested inside of each other. They're going to be just right after one another. All right, so we can also do siblings and add in all the other stuff that we learned already. So div with a maybe my class right here, plus container with an ID. Very, very, very simple stuff. All right, next up after that, let's talk about nesting. So let's say we want to have a div. The way we nest is by using the greater than sign. So we'll put inside of the div maybe an H1. Very, very simple. Maybe we're going to have multiple. So we'll say main, we'll have a section, and then we'll have an H1. Very handy. I should have used this a long time ago. Also, let's say, again, we can also mix all the other stuff. So div container, and inside we're going to have an H1 with my title. You know, very, very simple. We could also do groupings. So let's say, for instance, we have a main element, and we're going to nest inside of it a section. And the way we do these groupings, as you can see, is the parentheses. So we can have a section. Inside of the section, we'll have an H1 plus a paragraph plus a button. We'll close this, and then after that, we'll say we'll have another section, for instance. So as you can see, we've generated this complex sort of markup. Not necessarily complex, but we have several things happening here. We have everything inside of a main element, and then we have a grouping defined on the section element right here with 3 siblings right here, and then after this we have another section. So very, very handy stuff. Now what about text? A lot of this stuff, like if we do div, container, H1, we still have to type in whatever here. You can also specify text in that single argument as well. So we could do, say, for instance, main. We'll do another grouping here. Inside of here, the H1 will make the text, which you denote through the curly braces. We'll just say my headline. All right, and then we'll do a paragraph after it with the text of, oh, hey, this is my paragraph. We can also do a button with the text of click me and plus section again. Right there. So now we don't have to specify all that individually, because you'd sit there have to navigate with your keyboard arrow or with your mouse to specify those otherwise. Another example, again, let's say I have a paragraph with it's Gary here. Let's say inside of the paragraph we'll have a link. So first it's going to say it's Gary here, and actually I'll put a period and a space. Inside of the paragraph we'll have a link. So we'll say click me, and then we'll have a sibling. So we're going to put a plus, and then we'll say to learn more. So if we hit enter, we'll see we have our paragraph with is Gary here. We have our Ahref, click me, and then to learn more. Very, 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 very cool stuff. And as you can see, once you start committing this this different way to kind of sort of like write up your HTML, you'll save a tremendous amount of time, especially for somebody who's working with HTML a lot as a front-end developer. Let's see, you can also do really cool things like multiplication. So a standard use case for this would be if you have an unordered list element with a bunch of list items. So if you wanted to repeat those, how would you do that without knowing the multiplication? So it's very simple. We'll say we have a UL, and of course, because the LI elements are nested inside, we're going to use this to nest them inside our LI. So if we just hit enter now, it's only going to give us 1. Yeah, you could hit Shift Alt down real quickly, but that's not ideal because it makes it even easier than that. So we can put the multiplication sign in the number of how many list items we want. So 5. There we go. Very handy. We can also make it even more dynamic than that. So we can open up in here, which allows us to specify text, my list item, and we can even pass in sort of a variable placeholder in a sense if we put in the money sign, and we'll do times 5. So my list item 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can even get a little bit more complex than that. So if we want to specify an ID perhaps that is incremented and unique as it needs to be, we can put in, let's see here, we'll just call the ID LI, and then we'll attach the number right here to it. And then we can also give it a class, Broseph, and then we'll put in maybe the number sign here at the end, and then we'll give it a name or a value here of my list item like we did just in the previous example. And we'll do this all 8 times. So we have our LI 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then also, so as you can see through the ID class and value, it works very well. So let's also talk about just a few of the implicit names, which will save you even more time. For instance, instead of having to put div container, you can just put in container. And because div is the most commonly used HTML element, it's going to allow you to do that. You can also do it with IDs as well. So just put in this, whatever, and it's going to give you a div with the ID of whatever. Very, very handy stuff. So next up, we're going to take just a little bit of time, and that's primarily it for the amount of stuff. There's a few other bells and whistles that you can take a look at when it comes to the HTML portion of Emmet. And I'm going to show you the sort of like a cheat sheet, and I'm going to include this here in the YouTube description. I'm just going to link it, and it's going to go over a lot of the stuff that I just went over. Plus, there's a few other things that you can do. For instance, you can reverse the order of your list items here from like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just small things like that. And of course, this cheat sheet is going to tell you every single thing you can do in terms of HTML elements. But you can also do things like this for CSS. So you can make your CSS life a little bit easier as well. So let's create the folder right here, CSS, main.css. And inside of here, let's say we have a body element. And really, in terms of Emmet working with CSS, it's primarily for specifying your properties and values, not necessarily your rule sets up here, or not rule sets, but the selectors. So what we could do, let's say, for instance, we want to have margin M10, so a margin of 10 pixels, and it defaults to pixels right here. So if we want to specify something else, a different unit, we can specify, say, M10 EM for EM. So again, same thing works for padding. There are a ton, and really, it'll take just some muscle memory and repetition to really commit these to memory. We can do things like line height 10 EM. I know it looks silly, but the suggestion makes it a little bit more understandable. We can keep on doing things like width. We simply just put a W with the value. Maybe when we want this to be percentage. Very easy. We could do DN for display none. You can do DF for display flex. There are a ton. So what I suggest doing is figure out the ones that you use the most, and that's probably going to be things like width, margin, padding, and probably just try to remember to use those, and it'll make your life just a little bit quicker. Background colors, BGC, and so all this stuff is here in this cheat sheet, and you could see, especially for CSS, there's a massive amount here that you can really just start scrolling and checking out. I mean, it just doesn't end. It is insane. Very, very cool stuff. All right, so hopefully you learned something new there and you're going to start using Emmet. Let me know in the comments what you think, or if there's any other way that you prefer to writing your HTML. All right, I'll see you guys very soon. Goodbye.